John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m. John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, over here at the Alkebulan village, where each one reach one, each one teach one. One brick, one building, one block at a time. And people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we show that we care about the things that we do. And today we are celebrating here at the Village African Liberation Day. And we have Elder Piaka and Mr. Cofield. And right now, Mr. Elder Piaka is going to share a little information about African Liberation Day. Mr. Piaki?
Yes, how you doing out there in this beautiful city of Detroit? They've been celebrating African Liberation Day in Detroit for a long time, at least over 50-some years. And it's all related to the continent of Africa, where our ancestors come from. Decolonizing the African continent was the goal. Ghana was the first one to get it done, and the rest of them followed through. All the other countries are still dealing with some type of colonization, more economic than physical. But we are giving honor to those who had came before us, sacrificed, put their life on the line to make this day a viable day to stand in unity among ourselves. Anybody else want to say anything? That's what I got to give you on African Liberation Day.
Okay, today we also have Mr. Marvis Cofield, which is the founder of the Alkebulan Village. And he's the one that makes things happen around here. He's going to share some more information with you.
Well, thank you, Brother John. It's certainly an honor and a privilege to be a part of this team that I'm sitting next to, because it's not a me, it's a we. As Baba John has said, each one teach one, each one reach one. As we celebrate African Liberation Day, this is the 51st year on a national level that people all over the country and all over the world are celebrating a group of us who understand the need to celebrate, which means to acknowledge that we were enslaved, and there's still some countries throughout the continent that are still enslaved and have no control over their government, their finance, their education. So therefore, we want to let it be known, you don't have to be born in Africa, because Africa is born in you if you are a descendant from Africa. And historically and realistically speaking, we know humankind came from the continent of Africa. So we are all connected. We teach here at the village that we embrace African-centered education because it's the thread that ties all people together. It is where all of us started from, and based on where you lived on the continent and what climate you lived in terms of how you lived, tells you where you are today as it relates to color, culture, and the climate. But once again, as we celebrate African Liberation Day, James Brown made a record that said, say it loud, we're Black and we're proud, and certainly we are, but equally important, we say it loud, we're African and we're proud. We're not worried about what other people say we are. We know if you, for example, take an apple tree from Detroit and move it to Chicago, does that apple tree become a peach tree or an orange tree? It's still an apple tree. So we, as descendants of the continent Africa, we moved and replaced in different places throughout the diaspora, which are throughout the world. So we're still that African, regardless of where we are geographically. Also, Africa is not just a geography, but it's a genealogy. It's what's in your genes. So we want to say again that when we celebrate African Liberation Day, we want everyone to know that we are all in this together. each one teach one, each one reach one. And our main goal is to say, once you know your history, your life won't be a mystery. So that's why it's important here at the village, each and every day, that we teach our children that we are somebody. And if you believe it, you can achieve it. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. So that's why it's so important for us to acknowledge, not just talk it, but walk it. So I want to thank John again for giving us an opportunity to be a part of this historical day.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Cofield and Elder Piake. Like we say, each one reach one and each one teach one. And, you know, we have to give each other an opportunity to do things, because if there was a time, you know, when I first started out here, I was selling and doing stuff out the trunk of my car, like a lot of us, out the side door, the back door, and what have you. But then Mr. Cofield gave me an opportunity to come aboard and join here with the village. And like you say, each one reach one, each one teach one. And I learned a whole lot since I've been here. And I just like to share a lot, you know, this information with you. We had a host of at least 15 vendors here today, and each one of them was selling different things. And, you know, cooperation makes good business. You have to be able to collaborate with one another and give each other an opportunity. You remember maybe hearing me at one time or another talked about that at one time I had the attitude that I was going to put everybody out of business. But I learned better. I didn't know any better at that particular time. And here at the village, you know, I learned a whole lot, that cooperation make good business, and we have to learn how to work together. And by learning how to work together, and I changed my attitude from putting everybody out of business, because I realized that we need each other. And working together, you know, if Elder Piake had a business, Mr. Cofield had a business, and I have one, when they come to see Elder Piake, they look over and they see me. When they come to see me, they look over and see Mr. Cofield. So we become drawing cards and leaning and working and drawing cards that helps one another. So remember, here at the village, each one reach one, each one teach one. We believe that one brick, one building, one block at a time. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we shows that every day, especially today. If you don't believe it, you should have been here and looked out there at the youth in what's our park?
The Burrell, what we call the Burrell Trail, where two of our young men about 7 years ago, they died in the fire. And we wanted to commemorate and make sure that their spirit lives forever. So what we have, what we call the Alkebulan Marketplace and the village, and connected to the Burrell Trail, where it's about a half a mile long, where we have now rededicated alleys, and we're bringing them back to life, where we literally can sit in that alley, we can play in that alley, and we are going to have businesses in that alley where it will be a place of comfort. You will be able to sit like we did back in the day and enjoy your surroundings and not have to feel that, hey, I got to be in the house, I can't go in my backyard. All of that is going to be open to the village. Thanks to Detroit, thanks to those who understand it. Rebuilding our community, as we've always said, one brick, one building, one block. John also said that we had over 15 vendors. We had over 500 people who came out here, and we marched. We walked about a mile and a half to show liberation, consolidation, and make sure that we understand that I'm not free until we are free. I am, therefore we are, therefore I am. So remember, it's your job to teach and to reach.
And that trail was a nature trail. It was an alley that the youth got out and worked in and cultivated it and got it put together where it's a beautiful area for you to come and enjoy.
Thank you. And I just want to collaborate and just kind of piggyback on what they just got through saying. If I was doing this by myself, all this other information you wouldn't have even known about. That's why cooperation makes good business, and you have to learn how to work together. And I tell people, let's get rid of that crab syndrome, where when one get almost up over the bear, then another one reach up and pull him down. Let's push him over and let him reach back and pull two more up. Remember that. Each one reach one, each one teach one. One brick, one building, one block at a time. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Thank you for listening to John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience.
Be black
Have a
and be
great day.
proud.
All right.
John Beverly, Handyman, the businessman with a conscience on LICMC.net radio every Saturday.
Josephine Baker. Okay, and Rose. Once again, we got Josephine and Gloria. Tell us, which one is Josephine?
I'm Josephine.
What's your last name?
Bankruptcy.
Van Gooch. Oh, that's a beautiful name. So that goes to show you that we're all connected. How did you get involved in the village? Who brought you to the village?
I was working in the village by our neighbor, Mr. Merton Hall, because he was connected to the village and he was dropping us off here after school. And then Mama Karen, or Miss Karen McCollum, she was like,
That's Mama Karen. Go ahead.
she was very helpful and like living with us at the home and making sure we stay here and this because that was good for our community.
All right. Gloria, how about you? How did you get to the village?
Well, I got to stay away my sister.
Who helped you there?
Patrick Jill,
Well, Patrick Steele.
yes.
And Mr. Hall helped you too?
Yes.
And Mama Karen helped you too?
Yes.
So each one teach one, each one research. Give them a hand. That's what I'm talking about.
John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m. Alkebulan Village presents youth field trip events Fridays 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. ages 5 to 17. $10 per person. Minimum 10, max 15. Saturdays and Sundays 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. $200. Minimum 10, max 15. Includes a Alkebulan special, hot dogs, chips, and punch. Alkebulan Village's activities and amenities: air hockey, pool table games, video games, foosball, karaoke, movies, TV, cafe. Located at 7701 Harbor Avenue in Detroit, Michigan, 48213. For more information or to schedule, call 313-921-1616. 313-921-1616. Credit cards, checks, cash apps, and Zelle accepted. It's our pleasure to serve you. Culinary pleasure. Have your next social event here at Alkebulan Village. Recreation, Entrepreneur Cafe. Culinary pleasure. Recreation, education, culture. For more information, call 313-921-1616. 313-921-1616.